We're here to break down valuable sources, cut through the noise, and really get to the strategic knowledge you need.
And today, we're diving deep into, well, a blueprint for making changes that actually stick. Lasting change.
Exactly. We're exploring the ideas in what our source material terms atomic habits.
Right, atomic. And, if you're picturing some huge life-altering event as the solution, that's kind of the wrong way to look at it. The real power, the genius of this whole approach is right there in that word, atomic. We're talking super small, the tiniest possible unit of change you can imagine.
That's the key idea, isn't it? The author actually defines atomic in two ways. First, like you said, incredibly small, like an atom, irreducible.
A basic building block?
Exactly. But second, and this is crucial, it's also the source of, immense power, like atomic energy.
Ah, okay. So small and powerful.
Right. And when you combine that idea with a habit, just the routine you do regularly, often without even thinking about it, you get to the core argument here. Your life, right now, is pretty much the sum total of your habits.
It makes sense when you think about it. Your health, how well you're doing at work, even just like how happy you feel day to day. Those things aren't usually because of one big decision, are they? They're the result of hundreds of tiny actions you take every single day, things you might not even notice you're doing.
And that's the shift we're exploring today, moving away from just trying to pump up motivation, which fades.
Right. And focusing instead on the systems behind our actions, optimizing those tiny routines.
But before we really tear that system apart, let's talk about where this whole philosophy came from. Because it wasn't just theory. It was born from a pretty serious personal crisis for the author.
Oh, yeah. It's a really intense story, actually. It goes back to 2002. He was just a sophomore in high school playing baseball. And he was standing near the plate during batting practice. And a teammate lost control of the bat on a full swing, hit him square in the face.
Oh, wow.
Directly. The impact was, immediate, devastating, severe concussion, multiple facial fractures. His body just started shutting down right there on the field.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. When the nurse asked him basic questions like the year, he said 1998. Total concussive amnesia. Couldn't remember the president, couldn't even recall his own mother's name for 10 seconds.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
1998 and 2002.
Right. They flew him to a trauma center. He lost consciousness, couldn't breathe or swallow properly, then had his first seizure. It was incredibly serious.
How long was the recovery?
Weeks in the hospital, then months of really tough physical therapy back home. Broken nose, double vision. I mean, it wasn't just physical. It completely reset who he was, his identity.
And that's where the atomic habit started to form out of that recovery.
Sure, yeah. It really kicked in when he started college a couple of years later. He got to Denison University, wanted to play baseball again, but he was, rock bottom on the roster, way behind everyone else talent-wise after the injury.
So he couldn't rely on just talent anymore?
Exactly. So he made a conscious decision. Stop worrying about the big goal, being a star player, and focus completely on the small stuff, the inputs.
The system.
He realized he needed one to even have a chance. So he started tiny. While other students were up late, playing video games or whatever.
Typical college stuff.
Right. He forced himself to go to bed early every night, focused on sleep. He kept his dorm room meticulously tidy, just small things, but they were like votes for being an organized, disciplined person.
And study habits too. Right?
Yeah, systematically improved his study habits.
Yeah.
Got straight A's his first year. These weren't headline-grabbing changes, obviously.
Oh.
But they gave him something vital, a feeling of control, stability, and that slow, steady sense of improvement.
And did it work for baseball?
It absolutely did. That system, those tiny habits, they compounded over time. He kept lifting weights consistently, gained 30 pounds of lean muscle.
Wow.
By his junior year, he wasn't at the bottom anymore. He was team captain, all conference. And then, get this, 6 years after that horrific injury, he was named the top male athlete at Denison, ESPN Academic All-America.
That's incredible. From thinking it was 1998 to that level of success.
It really shows the power, doesn't it? Systems built from these tiny, consistent habits are what turn potential into reality, not sudden breakthroughs.
Okay, so that really sets the stage. That story is the proof of concept.
Exactly. So for the rest of this deep dive, that's what we're going to do. We're going to unpack that system he built. We'll look at the 4 stages of how habits actually form in the brain, the habit loop.
And the 4 laws.
And the 4 laws, yeah. Simple, practical rules you can use to deliberately design better habits. Whether you're, trying to write a book, get fit, or even improve how your team works at the office.
Okay, let's dig into that core idea then. The power of just 1% improvement. It sounds almost too small, doesn't it? Most people are chasing huge breakthroughs.
Right, we aim for 100% leaps. But the argument here is that tiny incremental change, that 1%, is way more powerful when it compounds over time.
Like compound interest.
Exactly like compound interest. That's the best analogy. If you get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you don't end up 365% better.
No, it multiplies.
It multiplies. You actually end up about 37 times better, roughly 3,700% improvement, because each tiny gain builds on the last one.
And that's not just for money, right? This applies everywhere.
Everywhere. Think about knowledge. Reading one article today seems small, but if you commit to learning something new every day, those ideas connect, they build on each other, eventually leading to breakthroughs.
Or relationships.
Absolutely. Relationships compound too. Imagine being just 1% kinder or more present in every interaction you have. Over 10 years, that consistent little bit extra builds this huge, strong network of trust and goodwill. It's all about the aggregation of marginal gains.
The British cycling team, that's the famous example, isn't it?
It's the classic case study. Before 2002, British cycling was, well, pretty forgettable. A century of mediocrity. They hadn't won a Tour de France in like 110 years.
Yeah, basically nowhere.
Nowhere. Then Dave Brailsford comes in as performance director, and he brings this philosophy. Improve everything related to riding a bike by just 1%.
Everything.
Everything. Not just the obvious stuff like bike weight or aerodynamics. He focused on the whole system around the cyclist.
Like what? What kind of tiny things?
Oh, it got incredibly detailed. They tested different bike seat materials, sure. But they also hired a surgeon to teach riders the absolute best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick.
Seriously. Hand washing.
Yep. Fewer sick days means more training days. They tested massage gels to see which one helped muscles recover fractionally faster. They even painted the inside of the teen truck white.
Why white?
So they could spot tiny specks of dust easier. Dust that might affect the performance of the finely tuned bikes.
That is dedication to 1%?
They even brought the riders' own pillows and mattresses to hotels during races.
To guarantee sleep quality.
Exactly. Optimizing every single tiny factor.
And the results were undeniable.
Completely dominant. Over the next decade or so, 178 world championships, 66 Olympic and Paralympic golds, 5 Tour de France wins. They turned decent athletes into global champions purely through these tiny, relentless improvements.
Okay, so if these small improvements are so incredibly powerful, why do most of us fail? Why do we start going to the gym or learning Spanish and then just quit after a few weeks?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it brings us to a key psychological barrier. The source material calls it the plateau of latent potential.
The plateau of latent potential. Okay, what does that mean?
It means we quit because we expect progress to be linear. We put in 1% effort today, we expect to see a 1% result tomorrow.
And when we don't?
When we don't see that immediate, tangible result, we get discouraged, we think this isn't working, and we give up.
Right. Feels pointless.
Exactly. And the best way to understand this is the ice cube analogy.
Okay, I think I've heard this one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Imagine an ice cube in a cold room. You start slowly warming the room, the temperature goes up. 26 degrees Fahrenheit, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31.
Still a solid block of ice.
Still solid. You're putting in the effort, the heat is going up, but nothing visible is happening to the ice cube.
So you're thinking, this is a waste of time.
Precisely. I'm doing the work, nothing's changing, but you keep going. And then suddenly, at 32 degrees,
Starts to melt.
it starts to melt. That 1 single degree shift, which felt exactly the same as the previous 5 or 6 degree shifts, unlocks this massive change.
So the work done at Tome 6, 28, 30 degrees wasn't wasted.
Not at all. It was being stored, building up potential energy. People quit when they're stuck at 31 degrees, right on the cusp of the breakthrough. Habits need that persistence to push through the plateau. The big results often only show up much later.
Okay, that makes sense. You have to trust the process even when you don't see results immediately. So if we accept that 1% changes are the way to go, how do we actually do it effectively?
This is where the focus shifts from goals to systems.
Goals versus systems. Explain that difference.
Okay, so goals are about the result you want to achieve. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to win the championship. Systems are about the processes you follow that lead to those results. I will exercise 3 times a week. We will practice these drills every day.
So goals set the direction.
Right, they're important for direction, but systems are what actually make the progress. There's a great quote from Bill Walsh, the famous football coach.
The 49ers coach.
Yeah. He focused relentlessly on perfecting their practice routines, their plays, the system. He said, the score takes care of itself. Focus on the system, and the results will come.
Okay, so why is focusing only on goals potentially bad? The source mentions 3 main problems.
Yeah, 3 big ones. Problem number 1. Winners and losers often have the exact same goals.
Right, like in the Olympics, every single athlete wants the gold medal.
Exactly. It's survivorship bias. We only look at the winners and assume their goal was the key. But everyone competing probably had that same goal, if both successful and unsuccessful people share the objective.
Then the goal itself can't be what separates them.
It has to be the system. The daily training, the recovery methods, the consistency, that's what differentiated the British cyclists, right? Not just wanting to win.
Okay, that makes sense. What's problem 2?
Problem 2. Achieving a goal is only a momentary change.
Like cleaning your messy room.
Perfect example. You spent hours cleaning, achieve the goal, a tidy room, feels great. But if you haven't changed the underlying habits, the system that led to the mess in the first place,
The clutter just comes right back.
immediately. Same with crash dieting. You hit the goal weight for an event, but if the eating system hasn't changed, the weight comes back. You're treating the symptom, the output, not the cause.
So you need to fix the inputs, the system itself, for lasting change.
Exactly. Fix the inputs and the outputs take care of themselves.
And the third problem with goals, you said it's maybe the most damaging psychologically.
Yeah, I think so. Problem 3. Goals restrict your happiness. Well, when you're solely focused on a goal, you basically tell yourself, once I reach this goal, then I'll finally be happy.
Right. Delaying satisfaction.
Constantly putting it off, always living for the next milestone.
Yep.
You only allow yourself happiness if you hit that specific, often arbitrary target.
And it creates this kind of either-or situation, doesn't it? Either I succeed and I'm happy, or I fail and I'm miserable.
Exactly. It's a very narrow path to feeling good. But if you learn to fall in love with this system, with the daily process of showing up and getting 1% better,
Then you can feel good along the way.
you can derive satisfaction from the effort itself, day in, day out. You're not waiting for the finish line. You're kind of winning just by playing the game well each day.
That idea of finding satisfaction in the daily process, the system, leads us right into the next really big concept, doesn't it? That true, lasting change isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become.
Yes, this is probably the deepest insight. It's about identity change.
Identity change.
The argument is that the most fundamental level of change isn't about outcomes, like losing weight, or even processes, like going to the gym. It's about changing your beliefs about yourself, changing your identity.
Why is that so fundamental?
Because if your behavior doesn't align with your underlying identity, it just won't stick. If you're trying to run every day, but deep down you still see yourself as, a couch potato or not an athletic person,
You're fighting yourself.
you're constantly fighting your own self-image. The habit feels like a struggle because it conflicts with who you believe you are.
It's interesting you mentioned the word identity. The source actually digs into the origin of the word itself.
Oh yeah, what's the etymology?
It comes from Latin, specifically the words essentitas, which means being, and identitam, which means repeatedly.
Being. Repeatedly.
Yeah, so your identity is literally your repeated beingness,
Wow, okay, that clicks. So your identity isn't fixed, it's built.
built by your actions. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become.
So making your bed isn't just tidying up, it's a vote for being an organized person.
Exactly. Meditating for 1 minute isn't just about stress relief. It's a vote for being a calm person. The goal shifts. It's not just to read a book. It's to become a reader.
Not just to run a marathon, but to become a runner.
Precisely. And the source gives a great little anecdote about this. Brian Clark, the entrepreneur.
Right, the nail-biting story.
Yeah, he'd bitten his nails since he was a kid, tried quitting many times using willpower, but it never really stuck long term.
The habit kept creeping back.
Until his wife did something unexpected. She booked him his first ever professional manicure.
He was probably skeptical.
Very skeptical, but he went. And afterwards, looking at his nails actually looked nice. Healthy. The manicurist even commented on it.
Positive reinforcement.
Exactly. And something shifted in him. He started to feel pride in how his hands looked.
So it wasn't just about not doing something bad anymore.
Right. It became about maintaining something good. He shifted his identity, he stopped being a nail-biter trying to quit, and started becoming someone who takes care of his appearance and has nice nails.
And that identity shift, fueled by that little bit of pride and satisfaction from the manicure, made the willpower almost irrelevant. The desire changed.
Okay, so if identity is built through repeated actions, we need to understand how those actions become automatic habits. That's the habit loop, right?
That's the mechanism. The 4 stages. Habit formation is basically your brain learning to automate behaviors through repetition. It goes way back to early psychology research.
Like the cat experiments, Thorndike.
Exactly. Edward Thorndike, back in the early 1900s, he put cats in these puzzle boxes.
Right.
The cats would kind of wander around randomly inside until they accidentally bumped a lever or pulled a string that opened the door, letting them out to get a food reward.
And over time,
with repetition, the cats stopped the random wandering. They learned the connection. They went straight for the lever much faster. The time to escape plummeted. The behavior became automatic.
because the brain physically changes, right? Hebb's law.
That's the neuroscience behind it. Neurons that fire together wire together. The more times you run through that sequence, cue, craving, response, reward, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. It gets easier and easier to run until it's basically subconscious.
So let's break down those 4 stages. Cue, craving, response, reward.
Right. The loop has 2 main phases. First is the problem phase. It starts with the cue.
The trigger.
The trigger, yeah. It's some bit of information that predicts a reward is coming. Could be anything, a sight, a sound, a smell, even an emotion like stress.
And the cue leads to the
craving. This is the motivation, the desire. But here's a key point. You don't usually crave the habit itself. You crave the change in state it provides.
Okay. So you don't crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the feeling of relief it brings.
Precisely. You don't crave turning on the TV, you crave the feeling of being entertained or distracted. The craving is about the anticipated outcome.
Okay, so that's the problem phase. Cue triggers a craving. Then comes the solution phase.
Right. Once the craving hits a certain intensity, you move to the response. That's the actual habit you perform.
Physically doing the thing or even thinking it.
Could be physical, like opening the fridge when you feel bored, or mental, like worrying when you feel anxious. It's the action taken to satisfy the craving.
And finally, the 4th step.
The reward. This is crucial. The reward does 2 things. First, it satisfies the craving that started the whole loop. Second, it teaches your brain, hey, that sequence of actions was useful, let's remember it for next time.
It closes the loop and reinforces the habit.
Exactly. Makes it more likely you'll do it again when the cue appears.
And this whole loop can happen incredibly fast, right? Like below conscious awareness.
Oh, absolutely. In milliseconds sometimes. Think about walking into a dark room, cue, darkness, craving, need to see, response, flip the light switch, reward. Light comes on, craving satisfied. You don't consciously think through those steps, it's pure autopilot.
And that autopilot nature is where the danger lies with bad habits, isn't it?
That's the heart of it. You don't even need to be consciously aware of the cue for a habit to kick in. Your brain just sees the trigger and runs the program because it's the path of least resistance.
The source had some striking examples of this autopilot gone wrong. The retail clerk.
Oh yeah, the credit card story. This clerk's standard procedure was to cut up used gift cards after processing them. Just automatic, cut all day.
Yeah.
One day, a customer pays with a regular credit card. The clerk swipes it, then completely on autopilot, picks up the scissors, and cuts the customer's credit card right in half before even realizing what happened. The physical cue, the card in hand, triggered the automated cut response, even though the context was totally wrong.
Wow, and the preschool teacher?
Similar thing. She switched careers, went into a corporate office job, but she found herself, out of habit, asking her adult colleagues if they'd wash their hands after coming back from the restroom.
That's awkward.
Super awkward. But the cue someone returning from the restroom was so deeply wired to the ask about hand washing response from her years as a teacher that it just fired automatically in the new environment.
It really highlights how these unconscious habits can run our lives if we're not aware of them. There's that Carl Jung quote.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
That's powerful. If you don't see the habit, you can't change it. You just think that's how things are.
Exactly. You're basically sleepwalking through parts of your day run by programs you didn't consciously install.
Okay, so if we want to wake up, take control back from fate, and start building better habits intentionally, We need these 4 laws of behavior change. Let's start with law 1. Make it obvious.
Right. This is all about the cue stage of the habit loop. If the cue isn't obvious, the habit won't even start.
And a big reason habits fail is vagueness, right?
Yeah.
I want to eat healthier.
Exactly. It's too fuzzy. There's no clear trigger. So to make the cue obvious, the first tool is using implementation intentions.
Implementation intentions. Sounds formal, but it's actually simple.
Super simple. It's just deciding in advance exactly when and where you're going to perform your desired habit. You're linking it to specific, unavoidable cues, time and location.
So the format is basically, when situation X happens, I will do behavior Y.
Precisely. Instead of, I'll try to exercise more, you say, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5:30 p.m., right after work, I will go to the gym on my way home.
And the research on this is pretty dramatic, isn't it?
It's incredible. One study looked at exercise follow-through. The group that just vaguely intended to exercise, only about 35-38% actually did it consistently.
Okay, too. Pretty low.
But the group that wrote down the specific time, day, and place for their workout, their follow-through rate shot up to 91%.
91%, just from making a specific plan.
Just from making it obvious when and where it would happen. It removes the guesswork, the need for in-the-moment decision-making or motivation. The decision is already made. The cue is clear.
That's huge. And it works for all sorts of things, not just exercise. Getting flu shots, voting.
Anything where you need to bridge the gap between intending to do something and actually doing it. Make the plan specific.
Okay, so that's linking a habit to a specific time and place. What about linking it to something you already do?
That's the next technique, habit stacking.
That's habit stacking, okay.
Instead of relying on time or location as the cue, you piggyback your new desired habit onto a habit that's already deeply ingrained. You use the completion of the old habit as the cue for the new one.
So it creates a kind of chain reaction.
Exactly. The momentum from the existing routine carries you into the new one. The format is, after I current habit, I will new habit.
Give me some examples.
Okay. Instead of a vague goal like I should meditate, you stack it. After I pour my morning coffee current habit, I will meditate for 1 minute new habit.
Okay, coffee is the trigger.
Right. Or, after I take off my work shoes current habit, I will immediately change into my workout clothes new habit.
Making it harder not to go work out later.
Precisely. Or for safety. After I put on my running shoes current habit, I will text my partner where I'm running new habit. You're linking the new behavior to something that's already automatic. Much higher chance it'll get done.
So, specific plans and linking habits. What's the biggest influence on our cues, though? Has to be our surroundings, right?
Our environment, absolutely. It's the invisible hand shaping our behavior constantly. There's that equation from Kurt Lewin. Behavior is a function of the person in their environment. B equals FP.
The environment is arguably more powerful than willpower sometimes.
Often, yeah. We see it everywhere. The classic example is the Massachusetts General Hospital cafeteria study.
Right, the beverage one.
Yeah. They wanted people to drink more water and less soda, but without nagging them. Originally, the fridges near the cash registers, the most obvious spots, were filled only with soda.
Prime real estate.
Exactly. So the researchers simply added baskets of bottled water next to every food station and put water options right alongside the sodas in those prime cash register fridges.
Here, it just changed the environment. Made water more visible, more obvious.
Didn't say a word to anyone, no posters, no lectures. And what happened?
Soda sales dropped significantly. Water sales went way up.
Soda sales fell 11.4%. Water sales jumped 25.8%. Just by changing the placement. Making the desired choice the obvious, easy choice.
That's profound. It wasn't about changing minds. It was about changing the context.
We can do this in our own lives constantly. Make the cues for your good habits obvious and make the cues for your bad habits invisible.
So if you want to practice guitar more,
don't keep it in the case in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. You'll trip over it. The cue is unavoidable.
And if you want to eat less junk food,
get it out of sight. Don't leave cookies on the counter. Put them in an opaque container on a high shelf. Or better yet, just don't buy them. Make the cue invisible. Remove the temptation at the source.
Even simple design things work, like those flies etched into urinals at Schiphol Airport.
Perfect example of making the desired behavior obvious. Gave people a clear target, reduced spillage and cleaning costs by 8%. A tiny visual cue changed behavior.
One last point on environment. The power of a new environment.
Yeah, this is interesting. Habits are very context dependent. They get tied to the specific place where you usually perform them.
So trying to build a new writing habit at the same desk where you usually watch YouTube is harder.
Much harder. You're fighting against the existing cues associated with procrastination or entertainment in that space. It's often easier to build a new habit in a completely new environment. Go to a different coffee shop to write or designate a specific chair just for reading. You escape the old triggers.
Okay, so making cues obvious is law 1. That naturally leads into law 3, doesn't it? Make it easy.
Yes. Law 3 tackles the response stage of the habit loop. We often think we just need more motivation, more willpower to force ourselves to do hard things.
Like trying to force water through a kinked garden hose.
That's the perfect analogy. You can crank up the water pressure motivation all you want, but it's incredibly inefficient. The easier solution.
Just unkink the hose.
Yeah.
Remove the friction.
Exactly. Reduce the friction associated with the good habit. Make it as easy as possible to perform the action. Don't fight difficulty, remove it.
Be proactively lazy. I like that phrase from the source.
Yeah, Oswald Knuckles, the IT developer, his resetting the room habit. When he finishes watching TV, he puts the remote back, fluffs the pillows, folds the blanket.
Doesn't seem like a big deal.
It's not about cleaning up the past activity, it's about priming the environment for the next action. He's reducing the friction for his future self. When he walks into that room later, it's ready. No little obstacles to starting something productive or relaxing.
Standardize before you optimize. Make this starting point effortless.
And the most powerful technique for making things easy, especially when starting out, is the 2-minute rule.
The 2-minute rule. Okay, break that down.
When you start a new habit, whatever it is, scale it down so that the very first step takes less than 2 minutes to complete.
Less than 2 minutes. That seems too easy.
That's the point. You take a big, potentially intimidating goal and shrink it down to a tiny, almost laughably easy starting ritual. A gateway habit.
So read every night becomes.
Read 1 page.
Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes.
Take out my yoga mat.
Run 3 miles becomes.
Put on my running shoes.
Okay, I get shrinking it down. But if I just put on my running shoes and then stop, haven't I just faked it? How does that lead to actually running?
That's a really important question. The goal of the 2-minute version isn't the outcome itself. It's not about the 1 page or just putting on the shoes. It's about mastering the art of showing up.
Ritualizing the start.
Yes, you're making the initiation of the habit automatic and effortless. Think about it. The biggest hurdle is often just starting, right? Once you've actually got your running shoes on, or you've opened the book, or the yoga mat is out.
The friction to continue is much lower. You've got momentum.
Exactly. You've overcome inertia. You've performed the ritual that precedes the real work. You're much more likely to then flow into the actual run or reading session. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. So you make the start ridiculously easy to ensure the habit actually gets established in the first place. Then you can optimize later.
Okay, so we've made the cue obvious, law 1, and the response easy, law 3. Now we need to power the loop with motivation. That brings us to law 2, make it attractive.
This taps into the craving stage, right?
Yeah.
Making us want to do the habit.
Precisely. And our brains are wired to be drawn to attractive things, sometimes even exaggerated versions. The source talks about supernormal stimuli.
Supernormal stimuli, like those experiments with birds.
Yeah, the herring gull chicks.
Yeah.
They naturally peck at a small red dot on their parents' beak to get food, but scientists found they'd peck even more frantically at a fake cardboard beak that had 3 big red dots.
An exaggerated, more attractive cue.
Exactly. And humans are just as susceptible, especially with things like food. Modern junk food is basically a supernormal stimulus perfected.
Food scientists deliberately engineer products to hit our primitive cravings for salt, sugar, fat things that were rare and valuable ancestrally. They optimize texture, mouth feel, what they call aura sensation, to find the bliss point that makes the food maximally appealing and hard to stop eating.
Making it incredibly attractive to our primal brain.
And that attraction is driven chemically by dopamine. Now, there's a common misunderstanding about dopamine.
That it's the pleasure chemical.
Right. People think it's released when you get the reward. But actually, dopamine spikes more significantly in anticipation of a reward. reward. It's the chemical of desire, of motivation, that pushes you to act.
So the thought of the reward is often more motivating than the reward itself.
Often, yeah. Think about planning a vacation. Sometimes the anticipation and planning feel even better than the trip itself. Dopamine is driving that wanting, which then fuels the action.
Okay, so how do we harness that anticipation for good habits?
One great technique is temptation bundling.
Temptation bundling sounds fun.
It is. You link an action you want to do with an action you need to do.
Okay, give me the formula.
Simple. After I do habit I need, I will get to do habit I want, or even better, I will only do habit I want while I am doing habit I need.
Okay. So if I need to, say, catch up on boring emails.
Which you want to listen to your favorite podcast?
I only let myself listen to the podcast while I'm doing the emails.
Exactly. The anticipation of the enjoyable activity, the podcast, makes the necessary but unattractive activity emails more appealing. You're bundling the temptation.
That's clever. What else makes habits attractive? Social influence must be huge.
Oh, absolutely massive. We are fundamentally social creatures. We have this deep evolutionary drive to fit in, to belong to the tribe, because historically, the lone wolf didn't survive long.
So we naturally copy the habits of the people around us.
We imitate three main groups. First, the close. Our friends, family, colleagues. There was that huge long-term study.
The obesity one.
Yeah. It found your chances of becoming obese jumped by 57% if you had a close friend who became obese. We absorb the norms and behaviors of our inner circle, often unconsciously.
Okay, so the close.
Who else?
Second, the many, the prevailing culture. We just adopt the normal behaviors of our society without really thinking about it, what time people eat dinner, how much you spend on a wedding gift, what's considered a successful career path. If everyone around you is doing it, it feels like the right thing to do.
We follow the herd.
Pretty much. And third, we imitate the powerful people we admire or see as high status.
Like role models.
Right. If you see successful people using certain habits or strategies, you're naturally drawn to copy them because you desire similar results. The source mentions an MIT robotics class where, incredibly, 4 out of the 10 students later became astronauts.
Wow. Being surrounded by high achievers pulls you up.
The standards and habits of the group you belong to have an enormous pull on your own behavior. Joining a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior is a powerful shortcut.
Okay, so obvious, attractive, easy. That leaves law 4, which closes the loop. Make it satisfying. Yes, the reward stage. This is maybe the most crucial rule of all. What is immediately rewarded gets repeated. What is immediately punished gets avoided.
And that's the core problem with good habits, isn't it? The reward is delayed.
Exactly. You exercise today, but you don't get fit today. You save money today, but you don't get rich today. The payoff is months, maybe years down the line.
Whereas bad habits
usually have an immediate reward. The sugar rush, the nicotine hit, the instant distraction of social media, the relief of putting off a difficult task. Our brain is wired to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits.
So to make good habits stick, we need to find a way to make them immediately satisfying.
We need to inject some kind of immediate reward into the process. Remember Stephen Luby, the public health worker in Pakistan?
With hand washing.
Yeah, people knew washing hands prevented disease, but they just weren't doing it consistently. The knowledge wasn't enough.
So what did his team do?
They introduced a new soap safeguard. And the key was this soap was designed to lather up really well and smell pleasant. Sensory feedback.
Immediate positive sensory feedback, the rich foam, the nice smell.
Yeah.
It made the act of washing hands feel good, satisfying, right there in the moment. And that made the habit stick where just telling people it was healthy had failed.
So we need to find ways to give ourselves that little hit of satisfaction right after doing the good habit.
Exactly. Maybe it's the pleasure of crossing an item off your to-do list. Or maybe it's financial.
How would that work?
Say you're trying to stop ordering an expensive takeout. You set up a separate savings account and label it something exciting like Dream Vacation Fund.
Okay.
Every single time you successfully resist ordering takeout and cook at home instead, you immediately transfer the money you saved, say $30, into that vacation fund.
So you get an immediate reward seeing that fund grow for the act of not doing the bad habit.
Precisely. It makes resisting temptation immediately satisfying. The key, though, is the reward needs to align with your desired identity. Rewarding yourself for exercising with an hour of TV is fine, but rewarding yourself with a giant donut sends a conflicting message, reinforces the wrong identity.
Exactly. The reward should reinforce the type of person you're trying to become.
And one really effective tool for immediate satisfaction is just tracking the habit itself.
Right. Habit tracking is incredibly powerful. It leverages multiple laws. Just the simple act of putting an X on a calendar each day, you complete your habit.
Like Jerry Seinfeld's don't break the chain method for writing jokes.
That's the idea. It makes the habit, 1, obvious, the tracker is a visual cue. 2, attractive, seeing the chain grow is motivating. And most importantly, 3, satisfying. Making that mark, closing the loop for the day, feels good.
The paperclip strategy too, moving clips from one jar to another after each sales call.
Same principle. Provides clear, immediate visual evidence of progress. That visual proof is deeply satisfying to the brain.
Okay, so make good habits satisfying. Now let's flip that for breaking bad habits. We need to invert law 4. Make it immediately unsatisfying.
Right. If immediate reward makes habits stick, immediate consequence makes them stop. We need to feel the pain of the bad habit right away, not just vaguely worry about long-term effects.
This is where those extreme examples come in, like Roger Fisher's idea for nuclear war prevention.
Yeah, the nuclear codes next to a volunteer's heart idea. Horrifying, obviously, but the point was making the consequence having to personally kill someone before launching immediate, visceral, and unavoidable.
Bringing the future pain right into the present moment.
Exactly. We need to find ways, maybe less dramatic ways, to introduce immediate costs to our bad habits. That's where things like commitment devices come in.
Commitment devices, like locking yourself in.
Or locking temptation out. Victor Hugo, trying to finish The Hunchback of Notre Dame on a deadline, famously had his servant hide all his clothes.
So he literally couldn't go outside and get distracted.
He made the bad habit, procrastinating by going out, impossible by drastically increasing the immediate friction. Automation is another form of this.
Like the cash register example.
John Henry Patterson, the store owner plagued by employee theft. He didn't try to give ethics lectures. He bought the first mechanical cash registers,
Which automatically logged sales and locked the cash drawer.
made stealing much harder, much more likely to be caught immediately. It automated honesty by making dishonesty immediately impractical and risky.
So for ourselves, we can use a habit contract.
A habit contract is a great personal commitment device. You make a formal agreement, often written down, stating the habit you'll stick to, and crucially, the immediate painful consequence if you fail. And you need accountability partners.
Someone to enforce the punishment.
Yes. Like Brian Harris, the entrepreneur who contracted with his wife and trainer. If he failed to track his weight each morning, he owed his wife $500, no questions asked.
Ouch, that's immediate pain.
Or if he skipped his workout, he had to wear the jersey of his most hated rival sports team for the rest of the day. The consequence has to be painful enough financially or socially that you'd rather just do the habit.
Okay, these are the 4 laws. What about going beyond just sticking to habits towards real mastery, the advanced stuff?
Right. A few key ideas here. First is picking the right game to play in the first place. Leveraging your natural talents.
Oh, genetics play a role.
They don't determine your destiny, but they definitely influence your areas of opportunity. You'll progress faster and find it more enjoyable to work on things that align with your innate predispositions. The advice is, work on tasks that feel like fun to you, but look like hard work to others. That's often where your natural edge lies.
Find where you get better returns for your effort than the average person.
Exactly. But what if you're not genetically gifted in the area you want to succeed in?
Can you create a new game?
That's the Scott Adams strategy, the creator of Dilbert. He admitted he wasn't the world's best artist, nor the funniest stand-up comedian.
Okay.
But he realized very few people could combine pretty good drawing skills with a pretty good sense of humor, and also had years of corporate business experience.
Combining skills.
By combining those 3 reasonably good skills, he created a unique niche, the corporate satire cartoon, where he could be the best in the world. He didn't win by being better, he won by being different.
Okay, so pick the right game or create a new one. How do you stay motivated once you're in the game, especially when it gets tough?
That's where the Goldilocks rule comes in.
Not too hard, not too easy, but just right.
Just right. Peak motivation, peak engagement happens when you're working on tasks that are right on the edge of your current abilities. Challenging enough to be interesting, but not so hard that you feel overwhelmed and give up.
And not so easy that you get bored.
Exactly. The sweet spot for flow and maximum focus is estimated to be tasks that are roughly 4% beyond your current skill level, just manageable difficulty.
But even with the right challenge, maintaining consistency long-term requires discipline, right? Professionals versus amateurs.
Huge difference. Amateurs practice when they feel motivated. Professionals stick to the schedule, regardless of mood. And a key part of that professionalism is regular reflection and review.
Looking back at your performance, analyzing what worked, what didn't.
Systematically, the best performers don't just work hard, they constantly refine their process based on feedback. The example used is the Lakers under Pat Riley and their CBE program.
CBE, career best effort.
Right. Riley had players track not just points and rebounds, but all the little effort plays, diving for loose balls, making the right defensive rotation, things that don't always show up in the box score.
Okay.
And the goal wasn't to be perfect, but for each player to improve their average CBE score by just 1% over the course of the season compared to their past performance.
Relentless focus on measured incremental improvement.
And that constant measurement and focus on process, even the small stuff, led them to back-to-back NBA championships. Top performers in any field, whether it's sports or comedy or business, have systems for review and refinement. They don't just rely on talent, they actively manage their progress. #tag outro.
Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from that tiny 1% idea compounding over time, all the way to building these robust systems using the 4 laws.
Yeah, it's a really comprehensive framework. I think the absolute core takeaway for you, the listener, is really committing to the system and the process.
Stop chasing the big outcome. Focus on nailing the inputs day after day.
Right. And consciously use those 4 laws, make the good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Use them to design routines that reinforce the kind of person you want to become.
Because that's the ultimate point, isn't it? It's not just about having more money or having less weight. It's about the journey of becoming someone different, someone better.
Exactly. Which actually brings us back to that interesting psychological distinction between wanting something, that dopamine-driven anticipation, and actually liking something, the satisfaction you get from it.
Okay.
Well, the source material points out that our overall satisfaction in life is often determined less by objective reality and more by the gap between our expectations and that reality.
So if you expect something amazing and it's just average, you feel disappointed.
Right, but if you expect something to be just okay and it turns out to be average, you might actually feel delighted. The outcome is the same, but the feeling is totally different because of the expectation gap.
Okay, I see where you're going.
So that leads to our final thought for you to consider this week. If the pain we feel when we fail at something is often directly related to how high our expectations were,
Like wanting that huge breakthrough right away.
exactly, then how might consciously managing, maybe even deliberately lowering your expectations for immediate results affect your ability to stick with new, difficult habits? Could focusing on the 1% gain and being satisfied with that actually transform the feeling of constant struggle into a feeling of continuous contentment, even as you keep improving over the long haul? Today, we're looking at something pretty fundamental: how real, lasting change actually happens. We're going beyond just willpower or, sudden bursts of motivation.
Exactly. We're digging into the mechanics, the blueprints, if you like, behind what the sources call atomic habits. Tiny adjustments that maybe counterintuitively drive huge long-term improvement.
And that word atomic, it's perfect, isn't it? It means something incredibly small, yeah.
Right. The smallest possible unit. But it also means the source of, well, immense power, immense energy. That's the paradox we're exploring. The power isn't in some giant leap. It's in the relentless consistency of the small things.
That's really the core argument we're unpacking here. A habit is just, something you do regularly, often without even thinking.
Automatic, pretty much.
Yeah, automatic. But your life, your health, your success, even your happiness, it's essentially just the sum total of those daily habits. You want different results. You have to build a better system, a better daily process.
And that's our mission today. We're not just saying habits are good. We want to give you the operating manual. Drawing from these sources, we'll break down the 4 stages of how habits form, the habit loop.
And the 4 laws for actually changing your behavior, engineering it almost.
Precisely. And it all starts, really, with this fundamental shift, realizing that true change begins with who you believe you are, your identity.
Before we get into the framework, though, we need to ground this. This isn't just some abstract theory cooked up somewhere. The whole philosophy has this really powerful origin story.
Oh, absolutely. It comes directly from the author, James Clear's own experience. It was born from, a pretty catastrophic accident he had back in 2002 in high school.
Yeah, it was serious. He got hit square in the face with a baseball bat during practice. Swung accidentally by a teammate?
And it wasn't just a minor injury, it was immediately life-threatening. He lost consciousness right there on the field, had a seizure, had to be airlifted to the hospital.
The immediate aftermath sounds terrifying. Severe concussion, amnesia. Like, when they asked him basic questions, what year is it? Who's president?
He was completely off. He thought it was 1998, Bill Clinton was president, but it was actually 2002, George W. Bush.
Yeah.
That shows you the level of trauma.
And physically. Multiple facial fractures, broken nose. His left eye was actually bulging. He had double vision for weeks. The recovery was incredibly slow and difficult.
Yeah, months of it. Couldn't play sports, struggled even to read. His whole structure just fell apart. He was really starting from ground zero.
But the turnaround, the atomic habits part, it wasn't some sudden epiphany, right? It came later, gradually, when he went off to Denison University a couple of years later.
Right. He wanted to play baseball, but he was way down the roster. Underweight, still recovering. He knew he couldn't just, force his way back to the top overnight.
So instead, he focused small, really small.
Incredibly small, consistent habits. Things like prioritizing sleep, going to bed early while everyone else was out, keeping his tiny dorm room incredibly neat and tidy.
Which sounds almost trivial, doesn't it? Cleaning your room.
It does.
Yeah.
But think about it. Those small acts gave him a sense of control, a feeling of competence, when everything else felt chaotic. It was a tiny vote for being an organized, disciplined person.
And that feeling, that little bit of control, it started to ripple outwards.
Exactly. He applied the same systematic 1% improvement approach to his studies. Consistent daily effort, not cramming. And he ended up getting straight A's his freshman year. It wasn't about genius, it was about the system.
And the physical recovery followed the same pattern.
Same compounding curve. Lifting weights consistently, eating right, not looking for quick fixes, but steady incremental progress. And slowly but surely it added up. He gained 30 pounds of lean muscle over his college career.
So fast forward 6 years from the accident.
6 years. And the results of all those tiny compounded habits were remarkable. He became team captain, made the all-conference team.
And was eventually named the top male athlete at the university. Plus, an ESPN academic All-American. Things the pre-injury version of himself hadn't achieved.
It's the perfect illustration. His potential wasn't unlocked by some heroic effort, but by the quiet, persistent power of his systems. Those atomic habits.
Okay, that story really sets the stage for our first big theme then. This whole philosophy of 1% improvement. Why these tiny changes actually matter so much.
Yes. And the key concept here is compounding. We usually think about it with money, right? Compound interest.
Sure. Your interest earns interest.
Exactly. But the sources argue it applies to everything. Knowledge compounds. If you learn one new thing a day, that doesn't just add up. It multiplies because new knowledge connects with old knowledge, letting you see things in new ways. Relationships compound too, being just a little bit kinder consistently builds this huge network over time.
And the flip side is also true, which is maybe more important to recognize.
Oh, absolutely. Just a tiny 1% decline each day, eating slightly worse, skipping one small task, avoiding a difficult conversation. Seems like nothing in the moment. But compound that over a few years, you drift way off course.
The difference between a good daily habit and a bad one looks tiny today, but massive down the line.
Precisely. And for a really large-scale example of the positive side, you have to look at the British cycling team. It's like the ultimate case study in what they call the aggregation of marginal gains.
Right. For years, decades really, British cycling was, well, pretty average. They hadn't won a Tour de France in forever.
Over a century. Then Dave Brailsford took over as performance director around 2007, and his whole strategy was find a 1% improvement in absolutely everything.
And they went deep, didn't they? It wasn't just the obvious stuff like bike aerodynamics.
Not at all. They tested different massage gels for muscle recovery. They figured out the optimal pillow and mattress for each rider's sleep. They even hired a surgeon to teach the team the best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick.
Wow, hand washing.
Hand washing. They painted the inside of the team truck white to spot tiny bits of dust that might affect the bikes. Individually, each change was minuscule, maybe even seemed obsessive.
But when you stack hundreds of those 1% gains together,
the effect is multiplicative. It compounds.
Yeah.
And the results were just unbelievable.
What was the final tally?
In the decade from 2007 to 2017, 178 world championships, 66 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals, and 5 Tour de France victories. They turned good athletes into dominant champions purely through optimizing the system.
Incredible. But okay, if tiny improvements are so powerful, why do most of us give up on good habits so quickly? We start exercising, we start meditating, then we stop.
Yes. That brings us to what the sources call the plateau of latent potential. It's a crucial concept.
Latent potential, meaning hidden.
Exactly. We expect progress to be linear. You put in X amount of effort, you get X amount of results right away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But habit formation, like compounding, is often exponential. You put in work weeks, maybe months, and you see nothing, no visible change. And that's the danger zone. That's when you think this isn't working and you quit.
Okay, I say the results are happening, but they're just not visible yet.
Think of the ice cube analogy. You got an ice cube in a room that's, say, 25 degrees Fahrenheit, so below freezing. You start warming the room. 26, 27, 28, 31 degrees.
Still ice, nothing's changed.
Right. You're putting in energy, warming the room, but the result, the ice, looks exactly the same. It feels frustrating, wasted effort. But then you hit 32 degrees.
And boom, it starts melting.
Instantly.
Yeah.
That 1 degree shift unlocks this massive transformation from solid to liquid. But here's the key. The work done heating it from 25 to 31 wasn't wasted. It was storing potential energy. It was latent.
So the breakthrough at 72 degrees was actually the result of all the earlier, seemingly unproductive effort.
Precisely. Most significant results of habits are delayed. You have to persist through that plateau to reach the breakthrough point. That requires patience.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense why people quit. That disconnect between effort and visible results.
And it leads directly to one of the most important mantras from the sources. Focus on systems over goals.
Right. Goals are for setting direction, but systems are for making progress.
Yeah, you need goals to know where you're aiming. But obsessing over the goal, the outcome, can actually be counterproductive. The famous coach Bill Walsh said it best. The score takes care of itself. Focus on executing your system perfectly, and the results, the score, will follow.
So what are the problems with being too goal-focused?
The sources lay out 3 main issues. First, winners and losers often have the exact same goals.
Okay, explain that.
Well, think about it. Every single team in the Olympics wants to win the gold medal. Every applicant wants the job. The goal itself doesn't differentiate anyone. What differentiates the winner is their system, their training regimen, their preparation, their daily habits. Focusing only on the shared goal misses the crucial differentiator.
Right. The goal is the wish. The system is the process to get there. What's the second problem?
Achieving a goal is often just a momentary change. It treats the symptom, not the cause.
Like cleaning a messy room.
Perfect example. Your goal is a clean room. You spend Saturday cleaning it, goal achieved, momentary change. But if your system, your daily habits of putting things away, tidying up, doesn't change, the mess just comes back next week.
So you need to fix the underlying habits, the system, for a permanent result. Fix the inputs and the outputs take care of themselves.
Exactly. You solve the problem at the systems level. Same with weight loss. The goal might be lose 30 pounds, you hit it, great. But if the eating and exercise systems aren't sustainable, the weight comes back.
Okay, and the third problem with a goal obsession.
This one's more psychological, maybe more damaging. Goals restrict your happiness.
How so?
We fall into this trap. Once I achieve my goal, then I'll be happy. Right? Once I get the promotion, once I buy the house.
Yeah, constantly deferring happiness to the future.
Exactly. It creates this either-or situation. Either you achieve the goal and get a fleeting moment of satisfaction, or you fall short and feel like a failure. There's no room for enjoying the process.
Whereas if you focus on the system,
you can derive satisfaction every time you execute your process correctly. You show up, you do the reps, you stick to the plan. That feels good, regardless of the immediate outcome. You're winning just by playing the game right, day after day.
Okay, so we need systems, not just goals. And the deepest level of that system is identity.
Yes. This is where it gets really interesting. True sustainable behavior change isn't just about what you do, it's about who you believe you are. It's identity change.
Moving from outcome-based habits to identity-based habits.
Precisely. The sources make a fascinating point about the word identity itself. It comes from Latin roots, essentitas, meaning being, and identitum, meaning repeatedly.
Repeatedly being. So identity is literally your repeated beingness.
Isn't that powerful? Your identity emerges from your habits. Every action you take is like a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Make your bed. That's a vote for being an organized person. Go for a run. A vote for being an athletic person.
The goal isn't just to run, it's to become a runner. Not just to write, to become a writer.
Exactly. The behavior needs to become part of who you see yourself as. That's when it truly sticks.
There's that great anecdote about the entrepreneur Brian Clark and his nail-biting habit.
Oh yeah, classic example. He'd bitten his nails his whole life, tried quitting with willpower, white-knuckling it, and it would work for a bit, but the urge always came back. Until he got his first ever professional manicure. Suddenly his nails looked nice, cared for, and he started to feel pride in them.
So the shift wasn't just stopping the biting?
No. The identity shifted. He stopped seeing himself as a nail biter trying not to bite, and started seeing himself as someone who takes care of his hands, someone who has nice nails. That pride, that new identity, made maintaining the habit almost effortless. You wanted to keep them looking good.
So the identity leads the behavior, not the other way around. How do we actually build that identity? How does a behavior become automatic enough to shape who we are?
That brings us to the mechanics of it all. The 4 stages of the habit loop. This is the basic architecture of how any habit, good or bad, gets formed and automated.
Right. It's about making the behavior automatic through repetition, like neurons firing together.
Wire together. That's Hebb's law. The more you run a neural circuit, the stronger and more efficient it becomes. Habits start as conscious effort, often trial and error, but repetition makes them subconscious, automatic.
Okay, so walk us through the 4 stages. They come in pairs, right? Problem phase and solution phase.
Correct. Stage 1 in the problem phase is the cue. This is the trigger. A notification sound on your phone, the smell of coffee brewing, seeing your running shoes by the door, it predicts a reward is coming.
Okay, the signal. Then what?
Stage 2 is the craving. This is the motivational force, the desire.
Yeah.
But here's the crucial bit. You don't crave the habit itself. You crave the change in state it delivers.
Wait, say more about that. If the cue is my phone buzzing, I crave checking my phone.
Not quite. You crave the relief from uncertainty, or the hit of social connection, or the escape from boredom that checking your phone provides. You don't crave smoking a cigarette. You crave the feeling of stress relief it temporarily offers. The craving is about the internal state change.
Got it. That's a really important distinction. So cue and craving are the problem phase. Then comes the solution phase.
Right. Stage 3 is the response. This is the actual habit itself. Picking the phone, lighting the cigarette, putting on the running shoes, the action.
And finally,
Stage 4 is the reward. This satisfies the craving. Getting the information, feeling the release, getting the endorphin rush. The reward teaches your brain, hey, that sequence cue, craving, response was useful. Let's remember it for next time. It closes the loop.
and this loop can run incredibly fast, often unconsciously.
Oh, instantly. Think about walking into a dark room. Cue, darkness, craving, desire for light, response, flick the switch, reward, light appears, problem solved. All 4 stages fire off in a split second without you even thinking about it.
Which is efficient, but also kind of dangerous if bad habits are running on autopilot.
Extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't even need to be consciously aware of the cue for a habit to start running. Your subconscious picks up on it and initiates the craving and response before your rational brain even engages.
Like those examples of people acting on autopilot. The retail clerk cutting up a credit card.
Exactly. Conditioned by the routine of cutting up used gift cards, her brain saw the plastic card, ran the script automatically, and cut the customer's credit card in half. Pure automaticity overriding conscious thought.
Or the preschool teacher asking her adult coworkers if they wash their hands. The old cue, leaving the restroom, triggered the old response.
These aren't just funny anecdotes. They show how deeply ingrained these loops are. We're often puppets directed by strings we don't even see.
It reminds me of that Carl Jung quote.
Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's the heart of it. If you don't understand the cues and cravings driving your behavior, you're just reacting. You can't change what you're not aware of.
Okay, so making the unconscious conscious. That's the bridge to the actionable part, the 4 laws of behavior change. These laws directly map onto the habit loop stages.
Perfectly. They're designed to help you build good habits and break bad ones by manipulating those 4 stages. We'll tackle the first phase, the cue and the response, using the first and third laws. Make it obvious and make it easy.
All right, law 1, make it obvious. This is about the cue, making it unmissable.
Exactly. We often fail because our intentions are too vague. I want to exercise more. I should eat healthier. That's useless. We need specific plans linked to concrete cues. This is where implementation intentions come in.
That's the simple formula. When situation X arises, I will perform response Y. pinning the habit to a specific time and place.
Simple, but incredibly effective. There was a study on exercise follow-through. One group just had the goal exercise more. Another group made an implementation intention. I will exercise for 20 minutes on day at time and place.
And the difference?
Huge. The implementation intention group had a 91% follow-through rate. The vague goal group, only 38%. Just the act of planning when and where more than doubled the odds of actually doing it.
Wow. That applies to anything, presumably. Voting, getting a flu shot.
Anything. Pre-committing to the context makes the cue explicit and action more likely.
And you can build on this using habit stacking.
Okay, stacking habits. How does that work?
You link a new habit you want to form directly to an existing habit you already do every day without fail. Your current habit becomes the cue for the new one.
It's like leveraging momentum?
Precisely. The formula is, after current habit, I will new habit.
So, like, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 1 minute.
Perfect. Or, after I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. The old habit, pouring coffee, taking off shoes, is already solidified, making it a reliable trigger for the new one.
That makes sense, making the cue part of an existing routine. But the most powerful way to make cues obvious is designing the environment itself right. Absolutely. Environment design is maybe the most underrated tool. Remember Lewin's equation. Behavior is a function of the person and their environment. B equals FPE. Your surroundings shape your actions constantly, whether you realize it or not.
The hospital cafeteria study is the classic example here. They didn't lecture anyone about soda.
Nope. Dr. Ann Thorndike's team just changed the environment. They added bottled water to the refrigerators right next to the cash registers, where previously only soda had been.
Making the healthy choice more visible, more obvious.
And the result? Soda sales dropped over 11%. Water sales jumped nearly 26%. Zero nagging, zero willpower involved. Just changing the visual cues.
So the principle is, make the cues for your good habits obvious and visible, and make the cues for your bad habits invisible.
Exactly. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow. Want to eat less junk food? Don't keep it on the counter. Hide it away. Or better yet, don't buy it. Out of sight, out of mind really works.
Even the location of things like electrical meters matters.
Yeah, that Dutch study was fascinating. Homes where the meter was in a highly visible place, like the main hallway, used less electricity than homes where it was hidden in the basement. Seeing the cue constantly reminded people of their consumption.
And sometimes it's just about providing a clear target, like the fly sticker in the urinals at Schiphol Airport.
Yes. Sounds funny. But giving people an obvious target drastically improved aim and cut cleaning costs by 8%. It channels behavior by making the desired action clear and, well, slightly engaging.
One last point on environment. Habits are tied to context. Sometimes changing your environment is the easiest way to change a habit.
Definitely. It's hard to build a new study habit at the same desk where you play video games for hours. The old cues are too strong. Go to a new place, a library, a different coffee shop, and you break free from those competing cues. A new environment makes it easier to establish new patterns.
Okay, so make the cues obvious. That leads us to Law 3. Make it easy. This is about the response phase of the loop, reducing friction.
Right. Think of motivation like water pressure. You can try to crank up the pressure, motivation, but if there are kinks in the hose, friction, the water won't flow easily. It's often more effective to just remove the kinks, make the desired action as frictionless as possible.
So it's not about being lazy, it's about being smart, designing for ease.
Exactly. Making it easy ensures you'll follow through, even on days when you don't feel motivated. Motivation waxes and wanes, but a low-friction habit can survive those dips.
I like that idea of being proactively lazy, like the developer Oswald Knuckles and his resetting the room habit.
Yes, it's brilliant. When he finishes watching TV, he doesn't just leave. He spends 2 minutes putting the remote back, fluffing the pillows, folding the blanket.
He's not just cleaning up the past action.
He's priming the environment for the next action. He's making it easy for his future self to relax or start the next task without friction. That tiny upfront effort pays off later by lowering the barrier to entry.
And the ultimate tool for making things easy, especially when starting out, is the 2-minute rule.
Absolutely fundamental. When you start a new habit, make sure it can be done in less than 2 minutes.
Why 2 minutes?
Because the goal initially isn't mastery, it's just showing up. You need to standardize the habit, make it exist, before you can optimize it. 2 minutes is small enough that it feels almost impossible not to do it. It overcomes inertia.
So read every day becomes read 1 page.
Exactly. Do yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes. You're mastering the art of showing up. You're creating a gateway habit.
You ritualize the beginning of the process.
Right. And once you've overcome that initial friction, it's often much easier to continue. You put on your running shoes.
Yeah.
Well, you might as well go for a short run now, right?
Right.
But even if you just do the 2 minutes, you've cast a vote for that identity. You've reinforced the habit loop. The start must be easy.
Okay, we've made it obvious, we've made it easy. Now we need to tackle the motivation, the craving, law 2, make it attractive.
Yes, this is all about tapping into our brain's reward system, particularly dopamine, and making the habit something we want to do.
It starts with understanding how susceptible we are to exaggerated cues, right? These supernormal stimuli.
Definitely. Animals do it, humans do it. We're drawn to heightened versions of reality. Think herring gull chicks pecking more frantically at a fake beak with bigger red dots than their own mother's beak.
It's an amplified signal that hijacks their instincts.
And modern life is full of human supernormal stimuli. Junk food is the perfect example. Our brains evolved to crave salt, sugar, and fat when they were scarce. Food scientists now engineer products that hit the bliss point, the perfect combination of these things, plus optimized texture or a sensation, creating something far more appealing than anything found in nature.
Our ancient brain wiring versus modern food technology, no wonder it's hard to resist.
Exactly. And the chemical driver behind this attraction is dopamine. But the crucial insight is that dopamine isn't just released when you get a reward. It's released in anticipation of a reward.
So it's the wanting, not just the having.
Precisely. The anticipation is often more motivating than the reward itself. Think about planning a vacation sometimes. The excitement leading up to it feels even better than the trip. Our habits are driven by this dopamine-fueled anticipation loop. We make habits attractive by jacking up the anticipation.
So how do we engineer that anticipation for good habits?
One powerful technique is temptation bundling. You pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do.
Linking the want and the need.
Right. The format is, after habit I need, I will habit I want. For example, after I finish these emails need, I will watch my favorite Netflix show want. Or, only when I am at the gym need, I will listen to my favorite podcast want.
So the pleasurable want becomes the immediate reward for doing the necessary need, making the whole package more attractive.
Exactly. You're bundling the temptation with the task. Another huge factor in attractiveness is social influence. We are herd animals, deeply wired to fit in.
A lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. That kind of thing.
That's the evolutionary root of it. We instinctively imitate the habits of those around us, especially 3 groups. First, the close. Our family, friends, colleagues.
There's that striking study about obesity.
Yeah, if your close friend becomes obese, your own risk increases by a staggering 57%. We unconsciously absorb the norms and behaviors of the people we spend the most time with.
Wow. Okay, so the close. Who else?
Second, the many. The prevailing culture. We adopt behaviors just because they're the norm. When to get married, what car to drive, how much to tip. We often follow the cultural script without questioning it.
And third.
Third, the powerful people we admire or who hold status. We imitate those we see as successful or influential. Think about that MIT robotics class where something like 4 out of 10 students ended up becoming astronauts.
Being surrounded by high achievers made that path seem normal, attainable, attractive.
Absolutely. Joining a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior is one of the most powerful ways to make a habit stick. The tribe shapes your expectations and makes the actions attractive.
Okay, that makes sense. Attractiveness is key. Now, the final law, the one that completes the loop and makes us repeat the behavior, law 4, make it satisfying.
This is crucial because the brain is wired by rewards. The cardinal rule of behavior change, according to the sources, is simply, what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided.
And that's the quote problem with most good habits, isn't it? The reward is delayed.
Exactly. Exercise makes you healthier months from now. Saving money gives you security years from now. But eating a donut, smoking a cigarette, the reward, pleasure, relief is immediate. Bad habits often win because they deliver instant gratification.
So to make good habits stick, we need to find a way to inject some kind of immediate satisfaction into them.
We have to, even if it's small. Look at the hand washing project in Karachi. People knew they should wash their hands, but they weren't doing it consistently.
Knowledge wasn't enough.
No. So Stephen Luby's team introduced a better soap, Safeguard. It lathered really well, it smelled great, it felt nice to use.
So the immediate sensory experience became the reward.
Precisely. That strong, positive sensory signal. the nice foam, the pleasant scent, provided immediate satisfaction that reinforced the habit before the long-term health benefits kicked in.
Right.
The feeling itself was the reward.
Okay, so how can we apply that? Maybe we can't make flossing smell like roses.
Maybe not. But we can create artificial immediate rewards. One clever way is using immediate financial rewards for avoidance.
How does that work?
Let's say you want to stop buying expensive coffee every day. The reward, more money, is delayed. So create a savings account specifically labeled Dream Vacation. Every single day you skip the expensive coffee, immediately transfer the $5 you saved into that vacation account.
Oh, I like that. So the act of not doing the bad habit triggers an immediate, visible reward moving you toward a goal you want.
Exactly. You're making avoidance satisfying. It reinforces the identity too. I'm the kind of person who saves for amazing trips. Just make sure the reward reinforces the desired identity, not conflicts with it. Rewarding a workout with a huge ice cream sundae sends mixed signals.
Good point. What about tracking? Does that make things satisfying?
Hugely satisfying. Habit tracking is incredibly powerful. Think of putting an X on a calendar every day you exercise, or using Trent Deersmith's paperclip strategy, moving a clip from one jar to another for each sales call.
Why does that work so well? It seems so simple.
Because it leverages multiple laws. It's obvious, a visual cue of your progress. It's attractive, seeing the streak grow is motivating, and crucially, it's immediately satisfying to check the box or move the paperclip. It provides instant evidence you're making progress.
That visual proof feels good. It creates that don't break the chain mentality.
Right. You build momentum, and the satisfaction of keeping the streak alive becomes its own reward.
Okay, so make good habits satisfying. Now let's flip it for breaking bad habits. If satisfaction locks things in, we need immediate dissatisfaction to push things away. The inversion of Law 4. Make it immediately unsatisfying.
This is where consequences come in. Remember the cardinal rule.
Okay.
What's immediately punished is avoided. If the cost of a bad habit is immediate and painful, you're far less likely to do it.
This brings us to that rather intense proposal by Roger Fisher about nuclear war.
Ah, yes. The Harvard negotiation expert. His idea was, to prevent accidental nuclear war, the launch code should be kept in a small capsule and planted right next to the heart of a volunteer aide.
And if the president wanted to launch the nukes?
They would first have to personally kill the aide with a butcher knife to retrieve the codes.
Wow, making the consequence incredibly visceral, personal, and immediate.
Exactly. The Pentagon reportedly hated the idea, saying it would distort the president's judgment. But Fisher's point was, that's the whole idea. Making the cost immediate and horrifyingly real forces true consideration, unlike pressing a button linked to distant abstract destruction. Immediate pain is a powerful teacher.
Okay, maybe implanting capsules isn't practical for quitting procrastination. How do we apply this immediate pain principle in everyday life?
We use things like commitment devices and automation. These are ways to lock in future good behavior by making bad behavior harder or more painful now.
Like Victor Hugo locking away his clothes.
Perfect example. Facing a deadline for The Hunchback of Notre Dame, he had his assistant lock away all his clothes, leaving him only a large shawl. He literally couldn't go outside. He increased the friction for goofing off so much that writing became the easiest option.
He created an immediate negative consequence for not working. Or you automate the good behavior, like John Patterson in the cash register.
Right. His store employees were stealing from the till. Instead of just appealing to honesty, he bought one of the first cash registers, which automatically logged sales and locked the money away. It made stealing difficult and easily detectable, immediately unsatisfying and risky. He automated honesty by changing this system.
Another tool here is the habit contract, making a formal agreement.
Yes, a written contract with yourself, often involving an accountability partner and a painful consequence for failure. Brian Harris, an entrepreneur, wanted to lose weight. His contract stated that if he failed to track his food and weight daily, he'd have to pay his coach and his wife $500.
Ouch. That's immediate financial pain linked to failure. Or wearing the rival team's jersey.
Exactly. The punishment needs to be painful enough that you'll really want to avoid it. It makes the consequence of slipping up immediate and undesirable.
Okay, those are the 4 laws and their inversions. Powerful stuff. What about taking things to the next level? Mastery.
Right. There are a couple of advanced tactics. First is about playing the right game for you, the talent, and selecting the right game. The sources emphasize that genes aren't destiny, but they do influence your areas of opportunity.
So work with your natural inclinations.
Pretty much. Find tasks or fields where things seem to come a bit easier to you than to others, where you get enjoyment out of the effort that others find tedious. Aligning your habits with your natural talents makes them feel less like work and more like fun, which boosts attraction and satisfaction.
And if you can't find a game you're naturally suited to win,
Then create a new one. That's the Scott Adams Dilbert strategy. He admitted he wasn't the best artist or the funniest comedian, but his unique combination of skills, decent drawing, okay jokes, plus a deep understanding of corporate life allowed him to create a unique niche, the office humor cartoon, where he could dominate. Combine your skills differently.
makes sense? Find your edge or create one. What else for mastery?
The Goldilocks rule for motivation. Peak engagement happens when you're working on tasks that are right on the edge of your current abilities.
Not too hard, not too easy, just right.
Exactly. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get frustrated and give up. The sweet spot, sometimes estimated around 4% beyond your current skill level, is challenging enough to keep you focused, but manageable enough that you feel capable of making progress. That's where flow states happen.
So constantly adjusting the difficulty to stay in that optimal zone.
Right. And finally, the key differentiator for long-term mastery: reflection and review. Professionals stick to their systems and regularly assess their performance. Amateurs just wing it and let life get in the way.
You need a measure to improve.
Absolutely. Look at Pat Riley and the Los Angeles Lakers with their career best effort, CBE program. They didn't just track points and rebounds.
They measured effort plays too, right? Diving for loose balls, helping teammates.
Love all those unsung deeds.
Yeah.
Each player got a baseline CBE score and was challenged to improve it by just 1% over the season. That constant measurement, review, and focus on incremental improvement across the entire system led them to back-to-back championships. Reflection prevents habits from becoming stagnant or degrading.
Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground there. From the basic idea of 1% compounding all the way to advanced tactics.
It really is a comprehensive system. If you boil it all down, it's about that commitment to tiny daily improvements. It's about shifting your focus from the finish line, the goal, to the process, the system.
And actively designing your environment and your habits using these 4 laws: obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, to support the person you want to become, to build that identity.
That's the deepest layer, isn't it? Habits aren't ultimately about getting something: more money, less weight, a finished project. They're about becoming someone. Every tiny habit is a vote cast, reinforcing the kind of person you are.
Which leads us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. We talked about how goals can restrict happiness, setting up that "I'll be happy when" scenario, and we talked about rewards.
And the pain of failure often being linked to how high our expectations were. If you desperately want something, failing hurts more.
So here's the question. How might consciously managing your expectations affect your ability to stick with habits and find satisfaction? What if you focus less on the wanting of the big, distant outcome and more on the liking of the daily process itself?
Right. An average meal can feel amazing if you expected nothing. Could finding joy in just showing up and casting that daily vote for your desired identity, regardless of the immediate results, be the key to more sustainable habits and maybe a more contented journey overall? Something to think about.
Our mission, as always, is to take a stack of compelling sources, distill the critical knowledge, and give you the actionable insight that truly matters.
And today we are definitely getting into something actionable. We're looking at profound, lasting change, personal, professional, you name it.
Yeah, we're diving deep into the philosophy behind what's known as atomic habits.
It's a framework that really challenges how we usually think about making big changes, doesn't it?
It really does. Normally you think big results need, well, big dramatic effort.
Right. But this approach asks us to look smaller, way smaller, to the tiniest possible unit of action.
I want to pick up on that word atomic because, like you said, it's kind of counterintuitive when you're aiming for huge changes.
Exactly.
The source material defines it in 2 specific ways. First, yeah, it's an extremely small, irreducible unit, or, the basic building block.
Yeah.
But second, and this is key, it's also the source of immense energy or power. Think atomic energy.
So you take that idea, this tiny thing with huge potential, and you pair it with habit.
Which is just basically a routine you do regularly, often without even thinking about it, automatically.
And boom, you get the central idea. Your life really is the sum total of your habits.
Yeah, your health, happiness, success, they're all just lagging measures of your daily actions. Right?
That's the argument. They're the results showing up later.
And the story that kicks this whole philosophy off, the author's own story, It's quite something. A real wake-up call about how fast things can change.
Oh, absolutely. Back in 2002, high school sophomore playing baseball. And then a practice drill just goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, a teammate takes a full swing, bat connects right in the face.
The injuries were, well, severe doesn't really cover it. Multiple facial fractures, broken nose, double vision for weeks.
But the neurological stuff sounds even scarier.
It was a grand mal seizure just before the ambulance got there. He couldn't control basic functions, struggling to breathe, swallow.
And the amnesia, that detail always gets me. The nurse asked the year, he says 98. President, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that complete disconnect from reality, it just shows the severity. And it makes his comeback, well, even more remarkable.
So he gets home, months of recovery, dealing with all these limits, physical and mental. 2 years later, he starts college, Denison University.
Right at the bottom of the baseball team roster. Not the star anymore. Starting from scratch.
And that's where this whole system, this habit-focused approach, really began for him.
He knew he couldn't just flip a switch and be back to where he was. So he focused on these tiny, almost insignificant seeming improvements.
Things like getting good sleep, actually going to bed early when everyone else is staying up.
Keeping his dorm room really neat, organized, improving his study habits, got straight A's that first year.
None of these sound like secrets to athletic greatness, do they? A clean room, early bedtime.
No, but there were small wins. They gave him a sense of control, which must have been huge after that trauma. Each one was like a vote for discipline, for consistency.
And that's when the compounding effect started to kick in.
Exactly. He kept lifting weights consistently, went from 170 pounds to 200 pounds, lean muscle.
By his junior year, he's team captain all conference.
And then just 6 years after that accident nearly killed him, he's named the top male athlete at Denison, ESPN Academic All-America.
It wasn't some miracle,
Yeah.
no sudden genius moment.
Nope, it was just the system working. Potential unlocked through tiny, consistent actions. That story really is the foundation for everything else.
It really sets the stage.
Absolutely. So for the rest of this deep dive, that's what we're going to unpack for you. The blueprint. We'll break down the habit loop, those 4 stages.
And the 4 laws for actually designing the changes you want to see, whether it's for your personal life or getting ahead professionally.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so this core idea, 1% improvement, it sounds almost too small to matter, doesn't it?
It does on the surface, but the comparison to compound interest is perfect because everyone gets that. Small amounts over time grow exponentially.
Right, if you get 1% better each day for a year, you're not just 3.65 times better, you're, 37 times better.
Exactly. And the flip side is just as dramatic. Get 1% worse each day and you practically wipe yourself out. You're down near zero.
That huge difference explains why habits often feel invisible for so long. You don't see the change day to day.
Until you look back over a year or 5 years. And this isn't just about money or fitness, is it?
Not at all. Think about knowledge. Reading one article today probably won't change your life.
But committing to read consistently, learn something new every day for years, that compounds. It opens up totally new ways of thinking.
Or relationships. Being just a little bit kinder, more thoughtful, remembering small details consistently.
Over time, that builds incredibly strong connections, a powerful network. It's all about the aggregation of marginal gains.
Which brings us neatly to that famous example, the British cycling team.
Oh yeah, the textbook case. Before 2002, they were, well, pretty mediocre for about 100 years, right?
That's putting it mildly. 1 Olympic gold in 76 years. They were a running joke almost.
Until Dave Brailsford came in as performance director with this marginal gain strategy.
He was obsessed, wasn't he? Looking for tiny improvements everywhere.
Everywhere. Redesigning bike seats for comfort, testing massage gels for faster recovery, even teaching riders the best way to wash their hands to avoid getting sick.
Hiring a surgeon for hand-washing technique, that shows the level of detail.
And testing the paint weight on the bikes, figuring out the best pillow for optimal sleep.
Things that seem almost absurdly small in isolation.
But add them all up. The cumulative effect was insane.
Within 5 years, they were dominant. What's the tally? Something like 66 Olympic and Paralympic golds between 2007 and 2017.
178 world championships, 5 Tour de France wins.
Yeah.
They completely rewrote the history books.
All built on tiny 1% improvements. Ordinary athletes became champions.
It's incredibly compelling proof of the concept.
But it raises the big question. If it's so powerful, why do we give up so easily? We start a new habit, do it for a few weeks, see nothing, and quit.
That's the plateau of latent potential. It's a killer.
Explain that. We expect progress to be linear, right? Put in effort, see results immediately.
Exactly. But real growth, especially with habits, is often delayed. It's exponential. You put in the work day after day.
Feeling you're 1% better.
And nothing seems to happen. It feels like you're stuck. That gap between the effort you're putting in and the results you can actually see, that's where motivation dies.
It's psychologically tough.
Totally. And the ice cube analogy nails it. Imagine an ice cube at 25 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, it's frozen solid.
Start warming the room, 26 degrees, 27, 28, 30, 31 degrees. You're adding heat, putting in effort.
But the ice cube is still just sitting there, frozen.
Right. Nothing seems to be happening. Then you hit 32 degrees.
And bam, it starts melting.
That one extra degree, that last little push, unlocks this massive visible change. But all the work you did raising it from 25 to 31 degrees wasn't wasted.
It was stored potential, latent, waiting for that tipping point.
Precisely. People quit at 31 degrees, right before the breakthrough. That's why persistence, even when you see absolutely nothing changing, is the secret weapon. You have to trust the process long enough to break through.
So consistency is king, which leads to the next big idea. Focus on the system, not just the goal.
Yeah, this is a crucial distinction. Goals are good for direction. They tell you where you're headed.
Like setting the destination on a map.
Exactly. But the system, that's the engine. That's what actually moves you forward every single day. It's like Bill Walsh, the legendary football coach, said, the score takes care of itself. Focus on executing the process correctly.
Okay, so if systems are better, what's wrong with focusing only on goals? The source material points out 3 big problems.
Let's break them down. First, winners and losers often have the exact same goals.
That's a sobering thought. Everyone wants to win the Tour de France, or get the promotion, or ace the exam.
Right, so the goal itself can't be what separates them. It suffers from survivorship bias. We only see the winners who had the goal, not all the losers who had the same goal but failed.
It was the system of marginal gains that made British cycling different, not just wanting to win.
Precisely, which leads to problem 2. Achieving a goal is only a momentary change.
The clean room example. You can achieve the goal of a clean room.
But if your underlying habits, your system for tidiness, haven't changed, the mess comes right back. It's temporary.
You fix the symptom, not the cause. Like yo-yo dieting. You hit the goal weight, then revert.
Exactly. Lasting change only happens when you fix the inputs, the system. Then the outputs take care of themselves.
And the third problem really hit home for me. Goals restrict your happiness.
Oh, this one's big. It's that mindset of, I'll be happy when I get the job, when I lose the weight, when I finish the project.
You're constantly postponing joy, putting it off until some future milestone.
And it sets up this stressful either-or situation. Either you succeed and get a brief moment of happiness, or you fail and feel like a total loser. It's a very narrow path to satisfaction.
Whereas focusing on the system, on the process,
allows you to find satisfaction now, just by sticking to your plan. You fall in love with the process itself, not just the potential outcome. It takes the pressure off.
Okay, shifting from goals to systems naturally leads us to what feels like the deepest insight here. Real change isn't just about what you do, it's about who you believe you are.
Yes. Identity change. That's the most fundamental level. Most people try to change outcomes first. I want to lose weight. Instead of focusing on identity. I want to become the type of person who values health and stays active. If your actions clash with your self-image, it's always going to feel like an uphill battle.
The source digs into the word identity itself, which is revealing. It comes from Latin, essentitas, meaning being, and identidem, meaning repeatedly.
So your identity is literally your repeated beingness.
Wow. Yeah. And what defines that repeated beingness? Your habits.
Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be.
So making your bed isn't just tidying up, it's a vote for being an organized person.
Exactly. The goal isn't just to read a book, it's to become a reader. Not just to run a marathon, but to become a runner.
That reframes everything.
It does. And you see this power in that story about Brian Clark, the entrepreneur who bit his nails.
Right, he tried quitting with willpower, but it didn't stick long term.
Nope. The change happened when his wife booked him a manicure. He'd never had one.
And seeing his nails looking neat and healthy afterward.
And getting that positive comment from the manicurist, it shifted something. He started to feel pride in his hands.
So his identity changed from guy who bites his nails to guy who takes care of his hands.
And that made the change stick. The habit became aligned with his new identity. reinforced by that feeling of pride.
And this isn't just psychological fluff, there's a neurological basis, right? Hebb's law.
Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you repeat an action, you're literally strengthening the neural pathways for that habit, making it more automatic.
Like carving a path in the woods, the more you walk it, the clearer it becomes.
Perfect analogy. And this automaticity starts with trial and error, like Thorndike showed with his cats in puzzle boxes.
The cat's learning to press the lever to get out and get food.
Exactly. Over time, they stopped the random scratching and immediately went for the lever.
Yeah.
Their brains learned the connection. Cue, box, response levered, reward, freedom food.
And that basic process is the foundation for all our habits, the 4 stages of the habit loop.
Always in this order. First, the problem phase. Cue and craving.
The cue is the trigger, right? It predicts a reward. Could be anything, the time of day, a location, an emotion, seeing something.
And that cue sparks the craving, the motivation, the desire to change your internal state.
And crucially, you don't crave the habit itself, usually. You crave the feeling it provides.
That's key. You don't crave smoking. You crave the stress relief. You don't crave Instagram. You crave the novelty or connection.
Okay, so cue and craving are the problem. Then comes the solution phase.
Right. Step 3 is the response, the actual habit you perform, physical or mental.
And finally, step 4, the reward. This satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, that worked. Remember this for next time.
And the whole loop can fire off in milliseconds, totally unconsciously. Like flipping a light switch when you enter a dark room.
Cue, darkness, craving, want light, response, flip switch. Reward, light comes on, done without a thought.
But that automatic non-conscious nature is also where bad habits thrive and become dangerous.
Because you don't even realize the cue has triggered the routine.
Exactly. You're on autopilot. The source gives some startling examples.
Like the retail clerk automatically cutting a customer's credit card in half because she was so used to cutting up used gift cards.
Yeah. The ingrained motor pattern just took over before her conscious brain caught up.
Or the former preschool teacher asking her adult office colleagues if they'd washed their hands after using the restroom.
The habit was running completely outside its original context. It shows how deeply these things get wired.
It makes that Carl Jung quote so relevant. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Oof, yeah. If you're not aware of the habit, you can't change it. You just think, that's the way things are, or that's just who I am.
Okay, so to fight back against that unconscious autopilot, we need the 4 laws of behavior change. Let's tackle the first one, which targets that initial cue stage. Law 1, make it obvious.
Right. The biggest enemy here is vagueness. I want to work out more, or I should read more. That doesn't give your brain a clear trigger.
So the solution is using implementation intentions, which sounds fancy, but it's just pre-planning.
Exactly. You decide in advance exactly when and where you're going to perform the habit. The formula is simple but powerful. When situation X arises, I will perform response Y.
You're linking your desired action to a specific time and place, which are the most common and reliable cues.
And the research backing this up is just stunning. That exercise study, for example.
We're the group that specifically planned when and where they'd work out.
I will exercise for 20 minutes on Monday at 6 p.m. in my living room. They had a 91% follow-through rate.
Compared to what? Around 35-38% for the groups that just had the intention but no specific plan.
Huge difference. Specificity turns a vague wish into a concrete plan your brain can execute. It works for flu shots, voting, anything.
The second tool for making cues obvious is habit stacking. I like this one.
Me too. It's elegant. You piggyback your new habit onto an existing one you already do every day without fail.
The existing habit becomes the cue for the new one, like a chain reaction.
That's the format. After current habit, I will new habit.
So, after I brush my teeth, I will floss 1 tooth. Or, after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 60 seconds.
Simple, concrete links. It uses the momentum of your existing routine. After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes.
That removes a decision point right there. Okay, beyond specific plans, the biggest cue is just our surroundings, our environment.
Absolutely. Kurt Lewin's equation. Behavior is a function of the person in their environment. B equals F key E. The environment is constantly nudging us.
It's the invisible hand shaping our choices, often without us realizing it.
Which means we need to become architects of our environment, not just passive inhabitants. The hospital cafeteria experiment is the classic example.
Right, Mass General. They wanted people to drink more water and less soda, but they didn't lecture anyone.
Nope. Pure environmental design. Originally, only soda was in the refrigerators by the cash registers, a very obvious cue.
So what did they change?
First, they added bottled water options near the food stations all around the cafeteria. Then, crucially, they swapped out some of those main soda fridges at the checkout for water.
They didn't ban soda, they just made water more visible, more obvious.
And the results? Soda sales dropped over 11%. Water sales jumped nearly 26%, just by changing the visual cues.
People's choices shifted automatically based on what was easiest and most obvious. It's powerful stuff.
So the takeaway for you is, design your space to make good habits obvious and bad habits invisible.
Want to practice guitar? Don't hide it in the closet. Leave it on a stand where you see it constantly.
Want to eat more fruit? Put a fruit bowl on the counter, hide the cookies in the back of the pantry, make the good cues unmissable.
And this works for discouraging bad habits too, like those Dutch electricity meters.
Right. If the meter's hidden in the basement, you ignore your energy use. If it's in the hallway, you see it every day, an obvious cue and consumption tends to drop.
Or the famous flies in the urinals at Schiphol Airport.
Genius. That tiny sticker gives men an obvious target to aim for.
And drastically reduces cleaning costs. It makes the desired behavior obvious and even slightly engaging.
One last point on environment. Changing your context makes changing habits easier.
Because our habits are often tied to specific locations or situations, right?
Exactly. Try studying in the same room where you always play video games. You're constantly fighting the old cues.
But if you go to a new coffee shop or a library,
You break those associations. The new environment doesn't have those pre-existing triggers, giving your new habit a fighting chance to take root.
okay, makes sense. Now let's jump to the third law, which focuses on the response stage. Law 3, make it easy.
This one pushes back against the idea that we just need more willpower or motivation. The source argues motivation comes and goes, but reducing friction is always effective.
Like unkinking a garden hose instead of just turning the water pressure up higher.
Perfect image. Friction is the enemy. Make the good habits the path of least resistance. Make them easy.
This involves being proactively lazy. I love that phrase.
Yeah, Oswald Knuckles' idea of resetting the room. After watching TV, he puts the remote back, folds the blanket, fluffs the pillows.
It's not just cleaning up, it's prepping for the next action.
Exactly. He's priming the environment so that whatever he wants to do next, read, work, relax, faces zero friction from a messy space. It makes the start of the next good habit easier.
Standardizing the beginning, which leads directly to the most practical tactic here, the 2-minute rule.
This is so powerful for overcoming procrastination. The rule is, when you start a new habit, make it take less than 2 minutes to do.
You scale it down dramatically, so read every day becomes read 1 page.
Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat, run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes.
It seems almost too easy, like you're cheating.
But that's the point. You're creating a gateway habit. The goal isn't just to do the 2 minutes. The goal is to master the art of showing up.
Okay. You're ritualizing the very beginning of the process.
Yes, because once you've put on your running shoes, or open the book to page 1, or unroll the yoga mat,
Yeah.
you've overcome the inertia. The hardest part starting is done.
And then it's much easier to just keep going.
Much easier. You've initiated the behavior. You can't optimize a habit that doesn't exist. The 2-minute rule ensures the habit starts existing reliably. Standardize before you optimize. All right, we've made it obvious and easy. Now we need to tackle the engine of the habit loop, craving and reward. Let's start with law 2, make it attractive.
This taps into some pretty primal stuff, doesn't it? Like super normal stimuli.
Absolutely. Animals and humans are wired to respond strongly to exaggerated cues, like those herring gull chicks pecking more at a fake beak with bigger red dots than their own parents' beak.
Our brains latch on to the optimized, more intense version of reality.
And modern life is full of these. Junk food is the prime example. It's engineered to hijack our ancient cravings for salt, sugar, fat things that used to be rare and valuable.
Food scientists literally find the bliss point, optimizing the texture, the mouthfeel, making it irresistible.
Maximally rewarding. That attraction, that craving is driven by dopamine.
But dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical, right? That's a common misconception.
Yeah, it's the anticipation chemical. Dopamine spikes before you get the reward, when you're expecting it. The wanting is often stronger than the liking.
That explains why planning a vacation can sometimes feel better than the vacation itself. The anticipation builds up.
Exactly. The chase is highly motivating. And we can use that anticipation with temptation bundling.
Okay, how does that work? You link something you want to do with something you need to do.
Precisely. You use the attractive want habit to pull you through the less appealing need habit, the formula. After habit I need, I will habit I want.
So if I need to reply to boring emails, but I want to check my favorite sports scores,
You bundle them. After I clear 10 emails from my inbox, I will check ESPN for 5 minutes. Only allow the reward after the necessary task.
or only listen to my favorite podcast while I'm doing housework.
Perfect. It makes the chore more attractive because it's paired with something you genuinely anticipate.
Attraction is also massively influenced by our social environment. We're wired to fit in.
Deeply wired. The lone wolf dies, the pack survives. We naturally imitate the habits of 3 key groups.
First, the close, friends and family. That obesity study is striking.
Yeah, your chances of becoming obese jump 57% if a close friend does. We subconsciously mirror the people around us.
Second, the many, the culture, the tribe. We follow norms often without even thinking how we dress, what time we eat dinner.
The pull of the crowd is immense. Doing what everyone else does feels safe and right.
And third, the powerful people we admire or see as high status.
You want to emulate successful people. That MIT robotics class where 4 out of 10 students became astronauts, being in that high-achieving environment clearly rubbed off. Belonging to a group where excellence is the norm is incredibly motivating.
Okay, so we've made it obvious, attractive, easy. Now the final piece, Law 4, make it satisfying.
This is the cardinal rule. What is rewarded is repeated. What is punished is avoided.
And this tackles the big problem with good habits. The reward is often delayed. Fitness takes months, wealth takes years.
While bad habits, they usually give instant gratification. Sugar hit now. Distraction now. Relief now.
So to make good habits stick, we need to find a way to make them immediately satisfying.
Even if it's just a small satisfaction. The Karachi hand-washing example illustrates this perfectly.
People knew they should wash their hands, but consistency was low. Education wasn't enough.
Right. So Stephen Luby's team introduced Safeguard soap. But the key wasn't just providing soap. It was the experience.
It lathered well, smelled nice.
Exactly. That immediate, pleasant sensory feedback, the nice smell, the rich foam, made the act of washing hands feel good right now. That immediate satisfaction drove consistency where logic failed.
We can create that immediate satisfaction for ourselves too, right? Especially with things like saving money.
Definitely. Set up a specific savings account for something you really want a vacation, a new gadget, label it clearly.
And then every time you resist a bad spending habit, like skipping that expensive coffee or packing lunch instead of buying it,
You immediately transfer the money you saved, say $5 or $15, into that special want account.
so you get an instant dopamine hit from seeing the vacation fund grow. It makes not spending feel rewarding.
It makes doing nothing satisfying,
Yeah.
which is genius. And that reward needs to align with the identity you're building.
Good point. Rewarding your workout with a healthy smoothie reinforces being a healthy person. Rewarding it with a donut sends a mixed signal.
Exactly. Which brings us to habit tracking. It's so effective because it nails all 4 laws.
How so?
Well, it's obvious the tracker is a visual cue. It can be attractive, seeing your progress, building a streak. And it's definitely satisfying, checking off the box, not breaking the chain.
Like Jerry Seinfeld's don't break the chain method for writing jokes every day. Just seeing that unbroken chain of X's on the calendar becomes its own reward.
Or moving a paperclip from one jar to another after each sales call. Simple, visual, immediate reinforcement.
Now let's flip Law 4 for breaking bad habits. Make it immediately unsatisfying.
If immediate reward locks in good habits, immediate cost or pain helps extinguish bad ones.
The source uses that intense Roger Fisher thought experiment about nuclear war.
Yeah, implanting the launch codes next to a volunteer's heart, forcing the president to physically kill someone to launch, making the consequence immediate, visceral, and horrifyingly unsatisfying.
It highlights the principle, even if it's extreme. We need immediate negative consequences for bad habits.
Which we can engineer using commitment devices. These lock you into future good behavior by making bad behavior harder or more painful now.
Like Victor Hugo locking away his clothes so he physically couldn't go out socializing and had to write. He added massive friction to the undesirable habit.
Or John Patterson buying the first cash registers to stop employee theft. He didn't rely on changing their morals. He made stealing physically difficult and easily detectable, immediately unsatisfying.
we can do this ourselves with a habit contract.
Yes, a formal agreement, often with an accountability partner, stating the desired behavior and the immediate painful penalty for failing.
Like Brian Harris agreeing to pay his wife $500 if he missed weighing himself.
Or wearing his rival football team's hat if he skips sprints. The key is, the punishment has to be painful enough that you'll do the habit just to avoid it.
Okay, we have the 4 laws. What about taking things to the next level? Mastery.
Right, some advanced tactics. First, selecting the right game. Your genes don't lock your destiny, but they definitely influence your opportunities.
Play to your strengths, essentially. Find tasks where you seem to get better results or enjoy the process more than the average person.
Exactly. Work on things that feel like play to you, but look like work to others. That's where your natural inclinations can give you an edge.
And if you can't win the game, everyone else is playing.
Create a new game. Scott Adams in Dilbert is the perfect example. He wasn't the world's best artist or funniest comedian.
But he combined pretty good drawing skills with pretty good humor and his business background.
Creating a unique niche, the office humor comic strip where he had little competition, he won by being different, combining skills.
Okay, once you're in the right game, how do you stay motivated long term? Avoid boredom.
That's the Goldilocks rule. Peak motivation happens when you're working on tasks right at the edge of your current abilities.
Not too easy, not too hard, just right.
Exactly. Too easy, you get bored. Too hard, you get discouraged or anxious. That sweet spot is apparently around 4% beyond your current skill level.
Enough of a challenge to stay engaged, to reach that flow state, but not so much that you feel overwhelmed.
You need to constantly nudge the difficulty up just slightly as you improve to keep it interesting.
And staying in that zone requires ongoing reflection and review. This seems to separate the pros from the amateurs.
Big time. Amateurs get knocked off course by life. Professionals stick to the schedule, and they consistently review their performance to find areas for improvement.
Like Pat Riley's Lakers and their CBE program, Career Best Effort.
Yeah, they track not just points and assists, but effort plays, diving for loose balls, setting good screens, things that don't always show up in the box score.
And the goal was just a 1% improvement in their personal CBE score over the season, focusing on that continuous, measurable improvement.
Led them to back-to-back championships. Top performers in any field, they all have systems for review and refinement. They never stop tweaking the process. #tag outro.
Wow. We have covered a ton of ground. From the surprising power of 1% changes, all the way through designing systems and environments for success.
It really boils down to that consistent daily commitment, doesn't it? Using those 4 laws, obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying to build the identity you actually want. Vote by vote.
Because it's not just about getting things, the weight loss, the money, the promotion. It's about becoming someone different, someone who embodies those habits.
And that brings us back to managing expectations, which is linked to that satisfaction piece. We talk about how the pain of failure often comes from having really high expectations.
Right. If you expect massive results overnight, you're setting yourself up for disappointment when you hit that plateau of latent potential.
But if your expectations are lower, more focused on just executing the process like the 2-minute rule, then any progress beyond that feels like a win. An average result with low expectations feels great.
So here's something for you to think about, building on everything we've discussed.
If that desire, that intense wanting and high expectation can actually increase the pain of setbacks and make consistency harder, how might consciously managing or even lowering your initial expectations for huge, fast results actually help you stick with new habits for the long haul? Could focusing more on the process and less on the immediate outcome lead to deeper, more sustainable satisfaction down the road?